pleased to present our Russian brother, Eastern Europe's most feared martial artist, Ivan Krasinski!
And welcome to the second episode of the Jean-Pod Van Damme cast.
Oh, yeah.
We are back. We told you guys we'd be back, but
We didn't lie this time.
But by the time you listen to this, you're actually 1 and 2 are going to come out together. So, like, there's been no time difference for you guys if you're downloading them both at the same time. Even maybe number 3 will come out with it, you know, do the package
Why don't
deal.
we do, like, 26 and then just throw them all out
Throw
there?
them all out there. We're totally going to Kapowcast it and just wait to get on iTunes after, like, 60 episodes. So, today, if you have been listening, following along with the first episode, we have watched No Retreat, No Surrender.
We did it. We did it for you.
Exactly. And this isn't really a typical Jean-Claude Van Damme film because he just plays the bad guy in it.
Yeah, he has a good 10 minutes of screen time.
Yep, pretty much so.
The vast majority of it is in the last scene.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the beginning and in the end. And he plays Ivan, the Russian martial artist.
What's his last name? Krasinski or something like that?
Yep, Ivan Krasinski. Krasinski the Russian.
And you can tell he acted his heart out with his accent in this movie, too.
Oh, totally.
His Russian accent is on par with his American accent, I
I'm
would say.
surprised he doesn't use that Russian accent more often.
I agree. It's up there with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Russian accent.
So, basically, this movie is made in 1986, and it starts out in L.A., but then they end up moving to Seattle after these gang members?
Yeah, this, like, New York crime dojo shows up. And like, we're taking over here.
Yeah, and they actually beat up the main dude, Kurt McKinney. His name in the movie is Jason Stillwell. They beat up his dad and like break his dad's leg.
Extremely nonviolent dad.
Yes, his dad who believes that martial arts is only for self-defense in the most extreme cases, yet he's somehow a black belt, like master black belt in Tang Soo Do. So I think one of my favorite lines in the beginning is they're panning around and they show the karate studio, and then it shows all the kids inside, and Jason is practicing with his buddy, and then all of a sudden he busts out something and just beats the shit out of his friend.
During some typical routine or all right, block and counter. And then,
and then his dad's like, this isn't Jeet Kune Do, Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. It was almost like so infomercial. It's like, this isn't Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah, his dad is not the strongest actor in the movie. It's oh my god.
Oh, dude, his dad had some awesome hand gestures.
Oh yeah,
too, every time he spoke.
3 seconds of he went to the William Shatner School of Acting.
Yes. Oh, most definitely. A
lot of stilted lines and cues that are picked up 2 seconds later. And...
Yeah, Timothy Baker, who was Tom Stillwell, and just to let you guys know, his filmography is Little Bigfoot in 97, Tiger Heart, Virtual Combat.
Is Tiger Heart the sequel to Lionheart?
Oh, I hope so.
Maybe it's a prequel.
Oh man, it came out in 96. Yeah, they do the prequel to the first one.
That would make sense then.
Angel of Destruction, which is
that's a Megadeth album, I believe.
Lion Strike.
Is that a sequel to Lionheart?
Ooh, that's the sequel.
He's big into the Big Cat theme movies.
Yeah, man. Black Belt, Out for Blood, Blood Fist 2.
Wait, was that all one movie, or was that?
No, I wish. Yeah. Actually, that Lion Strike does have more of a title to it. It's Ring of Fire 3 Lion Strike, but they are so embarrassed to call this a part of the Ring of Fire film franchise.
It's ruining the Ring of Fire film franchise.
I tell you what. It really is.
It all went downhill after 2.
I was really expecting more D&D and less kung fu, but so yeah, crazy, terrible acting, and
Crazy, terrible
terrible
acting.
terrible audio issues with the recording.
Oh my god! I wondered if that was just like the copy that I had.
No, man, no, it was
Like the
it
music was way
bad.
louder than any.
Yes.
Most of the dialogue.
Yep, the
and-
music was louder than the dialogue, and I heard a constant fuzz in the background until they had to do a voiceover for a scene where either Bruce Lee spoke in
Whoa,
Cantonese
spoilers.
or yeah.
Oh, the slightly more flat-faced Bruce Lee when he showed up.
Yep, yeah, or
In the portal of
yeah,
light.
in the portal of light, yeah. Or when someone's talking but they didn't catch it correctly, so you hear like fuzz 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 talking, and then you can hear the voiceover work, and it's just like, "You shouldn't fight. Go to your room." "No, Dad," and he runs off. But so they get kicked out of LA and they move up to Seattle for whatever reason, because that's what
you
happens.
get beaten at karate, you gotta move out of your dojo and just relocate.
Yeah, that's
Can't
exactly
just go put
it.
up a new dojo like
You know
2
what's-
blocks away.
You know what's crazy? They actually had a real phone number on that dojo.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 781, and I'm very tempted to call it.
We could call it right now.
That's kind of what I
I'd
was
probably
thinking.
just be like some random person.
But it
like-
wasn't. There was no area code in front of it. So
Oh,
I don't know what
we'll
the
just
area
be,
code for LA is. So yeah,
I
if you look,
think they might have more than one.
that's what I would assume too. So
Well,
yeah,
you just keep trying.
we just call and be like, hey, we want to take some karate lessons.
Does
does Ivan-
Jean-Claude Van Damme still there?
Yeah. Did Ivan how
Ivan Krasinski.
how's your sensei? Is he still okay from Ivan Krasinski beating the tar out of him? So yeah, they moved to LA, and immediately Jason makes friends with RJ.
This is the
And-
literal definition of fast friends.
I really
he just
think
wanders into his garage.
if we weren't a year old or 2 years old when this film came out, I would probably sue them, because this is exactly how you and me met.
That's true.
I was sitting there bringing all my karate stuff into the garage. My basketball rolled out of the box. You caught it while riding your bike
Yep.
with your awesome stereo in the front,
Mm-hmm.
and you were dribbling while riding.
That's true. And freestyling.
I knew we were friends then. So, they go in there and he's setting stuff up, and immediately they just start making corny one-liners. RJ is absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, RJ was he made the movie watchable for me
Oh, yeah.
outside of the first 5 and last 10 minutes of the film.
Yep, and he's played by J.W. Fails.
Not the best choice of names.
No, he has one more credit over the dad. So he was in, let's see, California Dreams in one
The
episode.
Sega game.
Growing Pains. He was student number 3.
All right, makes sense.
First and 10, the championship TV series. He did a lot of TV series. 21 Jump Street.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
The new Leave It to Beaver, still the Beaver.
I forgot they made that.
For Keeps. For Keeps? It has a question mark on the end of it. For Keeps?
Is that the name of the show?
He was High Flyer in For Keeps. Highway to Heaven, which
Oh,
is
wow.
yeah, man,
Hey.
little House on the Prairie. Michael Landon. Highway.
Have
to
you ever
Heaven.
seen that painting of Michael Landon baptizing a squid?
No.
Look it up sometime. I think it's called The Anguish,
Oh man, that sounds.
and he has
amazing.
this forlorn look on his face while he's baptizing this Humboldt squid.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's by Brandon Bird, very very talented artist.
I'm gonna check that out. The Bronx Zoo and Vendetta as the parking attendant. So yeah, there's a reason why RJ really doesn't have that many, more credited roles.
It's because the Hollywood community is racist.
That's exactly where I was going with that. So yeah, and then all of a sudden we have this big fat dude.
Oh my
Scott.
god, this guy's fucking gross.
Yeah.
He's literally eating handfuls of cake when he shows up.
Yep, and they have no backstory on him,
He's fat.
and that's it. He plays the
He's a
'80s
big
typical
fat guy.
fat
He likes
bully.
to eat. Yeah.
Yep, that was totally
Imagine
80s.
Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then just
Yep.
even more archetypal and ridiculous.
Bring it down a couple levels.
Yeah.
And he wants to always beat up RJ.
I think he's a racist, is my guess, because like they ask him why he hates him. He's like, I have my reasons.
Yeah, and you know what's kind of funny is I had to look this up in the trivia section of things. Is there's a scene was written where RJ accidentally trips Scott in the school cafeteria, causing him to spill his food. So that's why
that
he hates RJ. But they never filmed it and they never explained it. That was the perfect line for them to be like, "Why do you hate him?"
And then
because you tripped me.
Or it could have just like went to a little flashback.
Nope, but
with really bad audio and
nope. That's just how it goes. And so they do a hilarious cat and mouse chase where a bunch of construction dudes are like cheering Scott on
that was really bizarre.
to
he
jump
did pull
over
vaulted
stuff.
over the
a ladder.
Come on, big boy. I
You
just
can
assumed
do
his
it.
name was Big Boy in the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. And he gets called I think Lardass.
Yeah, he calls him Lard. Yeah,
and Fatty. Some other typical 80s. Hey, it's a fat person. Let's make fun of him. So really, I think the thing that we really have to concentrate on in this movie
how fat this guy was
is not the fact that a copy of Bruce Lee was in it, or this kid has moved his home from LA to Seattle and he wants to take his revenge on Jean-Claude Van Damme. No, it's actually Scott and his weight problems. And
I called it. Hell yeah.
What he has to do even when the protagonist makes fun of him about his weight. This poor guy, he gets his ass kicked, joins a dojo, and...
What is he, like the water boy in the dojo? Like, he has like a gi on
much,
with a
he
white
was a white
belt.
He was a
and
white
like
belt,
his belt is just like
it's not even
tied on
correctly.
once.
Yep.
Like it's like hanging to the floor.
Yep. Yeah, dude. He totally was a water boy. So yeah, what ends up happening basically is that Jason and his dad get into a scuffle after Jason got the crap kicked out of him from the LA dojo.
We've all been there.
Yep. And his dad tears the poster of Bruce Lee.
I cried.
Oh, dude. I got so mad. I ran out and didn't know where I was going either. I just ran down the street with him.
You angrily jumped into your bed?
Yep.
I was there.
I did. I kind of did the like ruffle on my bed too.
Then you jumped out and ran into the garage.
Yep. And so I grabbed all my equipment. I mean, Jason grabbed all his equipment. This isn't a biography of my life.
Based on the incredible true story.
So then they end up randomly in some house, abandoned house.
Well, squatters' rights. I mean,
that's true. Adverse possession over a period of time that would be Jason's. So he ends up in there after. Oh, I failed to mention one of the biggest scenes. They go to Bruce Lee's grave, and he's talking to Bruce Lee's tombstone, like Bruce Lee is standing.
At this point,
there.
you begin to understand that the main character might have a bit of a screw loose.
Yep.
Like,
definitely.
He has like this. His obsession with Bruce Lee. It just seems like normal at first for an aspiring martial artist, but as it progresses,
it gets absolutely ridiculous.
I brought you these flowers. I knew these were your favorite kind of flowers, Bruce Lee.
See, I did my research. I love you. Yeah, and so after he gets his ass kicked again.
Yeah, he spends most of the movie getting his ass kicked.
Yeah, he goes back and he pleads with Bruce to help him. Like pleading to the body of a dead legend is going to do anything. But sure enough, he proved us wrong, and all of a sudden, lights come up in this abandoned home, and out comes Bruce Lee.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Lee, after he died, his accent got like a lot thicker.
Yeah.
I had trouble understanding him. His eyebrows were less bushy, and his face got a little flatter. But
yeah, Kim Tai Chong is the guy who plays Bruce Lee, who actually was his stand-in in a couple of movies. And
that makes sense.
Was the whole reason why.
He looked a lot like Bruce Lee. But...
Yeah, man. Yeah, he totally shemped it, and certain
yeah,
you could stand in, and it was like in some of Bruce Lee's more famous films too. He was the stand-in for him. So, hey, man, that's where things get a little bit even weirder.
This is where the movie takes like a Hitchcockian turn.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't speak like English at all, and they overdub him. And
Wow, in real life he doesn't speak English.
No, he does. But
he talks in Chinese. What word?
They wanted him to speak either Mandarin or Cantonese during. And
the movie was produced by people from China, right? Or Hong
The
Kong.
the
one or
director was
other.
Corey Wan. So yeah, I guess
I don't
it's an
wanna-
original story by him. And
I imagine the story seemed really good. Like, in
oh
your
yeah,
head.
I bet it did. Like honestly,
It's a coming of age story about a child who is visited by the ghost of Bruce Lee.
pretty much so. So yeah, they end up training. Long story short, Bruce Lee basically like
Like, it
takes a
seems
coke.
like at first like he fell asleep.
Yeah, he did. He fell asleep.
Yeah, but like you would have figured he woke up and then he was just inspired to train harder, but it just kept happening.
Yeah, yep.
Like,
And then RJ would like look at him and he's training by
and he's
himself.
talking,
and he's talking to himself.
And like RJ's like, ooh,
Yeah, RJ's just laughing along like that's my buddy. In 2016,
That's my
we'd be like,
psychotic martial artist buddy.
we'd be calling up the FBI right
Yeah,
now
no
and be
shit.
like, I think this guy's gonna shoot up the school. I don't know, man. Yeah. So he's practicing, and somehow he ends up getting better. And I like to thank Coke for that, Coca-Cola.
Diet Coke.
Yeah,
to be
and Diet
specific.
Coke too, as well, because they obviously had a hand in sponsorship in this film.
Yes.
And so Bruce Lee has water in a cup, and then he has a cup filled. And what a terrific pour! But
Oh.
I expect nothing more, nothing less than from the man.
You have to
himself.
be like water.
Yep. And then
You have to be like Diet Coke.
You have to be like Diet Coke. Be
Hard
the Diet Coke,
and then fizzy and then not tasting that great.
and then
but, you
eat
know.
away someone's insides.
Yes, and then if you put a chicken bone in it, it gets like rubbery in a week, and you get a B. You get a B in your science project.
So, yeah, he ends up making some weird metaphor with Diet Coke, and then Jason can kick ass. And then
Yeah.
there's just a crazy long ass montage.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say 20 to 30% of the movie was a training montage.
Pretty much so. And there's at one point where he's doing a weird thing where he's got his legs up on.
Are you gonna when he's eating the when
He's eating the fudgesicle
yeah,
or the
and like
Eskimo
he's
pie.
oh my god!
Yep. So
Oh, that's the old. That was that. Oh, it's just so vivid.
yeah,
I still see it when I close my eyes.
I know, me too.
Is
Jason-
it like he's like propped up and doing these like arching thrusts in the air
Yes,
between
yes.
post and park bench, but you just see what's his name, RJ,
RJ, yeah.
like lifting up in the air, like gleefully eating a ice cream bar, and then it pans back and he's wearing really short training shorts.
Oh yeah, dude, he's wearing bike shorts.
Like
And
he's sitting
just-
right
he's sit-
on his junk,
Yeah.
just thrusting in the air while he's gleefully. oh my!
Oh
God.
yeah, dude, he's just smiling. He's listening to
Like,
music,
mm.
eating that Eskimo pie, and he's just getting it right up the butt from Jason. Like, there's no way, man. There's no.
Even in like the
Seriously.
like in it more like back in the 1980s, we didn't just laugh at the homoeroticism of everything that happened in any situation, but still, like at any time, like even in like the 1950s, people would be like, "Oh, this is."
Yeah, no, that one was a little awkward. Like, I understand there's no other place for him to be able to sit on him, but he should have at least had the girl love interest do it.
Yeah.
Because originally when he comes in, he's doing them by himself. He's thrusting in the air by himself. And then RJ, who's the asshole, jumps on him, and they both fall to the ground.
Which was also a little.
Yeah, that's
a little
That's
homoerotic, but,
yeah,
you know,
very
like-
much so. I mean, I had to watch it a couple times myself just to make sure everything
over
was
and
okay.
over again. Yeah, do some research.
All I
and-
could think of was his poor neck when he jumped on him, because all he
Oh,
had
no
was
shit.
a towel on his neck,
And he's like,
and he's doing the thrust, and he jumps on him. But yeah, no, how could you do those thrusts in the air with someone sitting right on your junk, and you're wearing those short shorts, and I'm sure things are rubbing up against each other, and the first line of defense that your male genitalia does is go, I got to go into boner mode. So, like,
There's
obviously,
nothing wrong with it.
I
It's just
yeah,
training.
it's
He's
too-
got to be the best.
Actually, I heard that they play this movie in physical education courses, health classes now in 2016. So
I would like to investigate this. I'd like to see these courses.
so
I think the fact that he's eating an ice cream bar was really the cherry on top. Like, he could have just been like sitting there with his arms crossed or something, but no, he had to, like,
Right, exactly.
He was
No.
going to town on a phallic
He's-
object at the same time.
oh yeah, dude, he's going to town on it. He's listening to music, like, so his head's bopping and everything too, and he's just. I need
It's
a
a
gif
re-
of this.
It's a
I'm
real-
actually.
I went on Jiffy, but or good Giphy, good Jiffy.
Oh yeah, good Jiffy. That's right.
But the video was too long. I have to find a different.
Ah.
We'll post it. We'll post
Oh
it.
yeah, we'll get it.
Once the Facebook site is up.
Yep. Yeah, we'll.
It'll probably be our
definitely get it.
background image, and I think it's going to be the background image on my computer too. Just in general.
Our Jean-Pod Van Damme cast, which we
Yes.
have not talked about Jean-Claude except for in the beginning so far, is going to basically have RJ and Jason as the cover photo. So yeah, those two decide to, keep the bromance alive and going strong. And then it gets to the end of the film where basically they're all set up in a gym and the LA dojo is about to get taken over, or is trying to get taken over.
By
but
the evil New York dojo.
yeah, the
Pulling a Vince McMahon.
that's exactly what it was. That's another thing that I heard about this film, was that it was basically supposed to be talking about wrestling and the
Really?
territories. Nope, not at all.
I was going to say, it would have made sense because it's a very similar story. Right down to the homoeroticism.
Pretty much so, exactly. So they're fighting. They're about to fight 3-on-3, the LA gym and this New York mob dojo, and then all of a sudden the main guy, who brought like Don Corleone with him, was like, "No, the Russian's gonna fight all three of your dudes." And so Van Damme does what Van Damme does best, and he kicks ass.
Yeah.
And in this situation, we see him beat the tar out of the first dude, and the second dude kind of has a little bit of struggle with the third dude.
Third
because
dude,
the
it
third
was
dude's the North American.
He ends up cheating to win.
Yep. So he ends up beating the tar out of him, and then everyone's trying to fight him. So our real protagonist comes in and tries to bite his calf, Scott, the big guy, and Van
Attempting
Damme
to
just
eat Jean-Claude Van Damme.
it just didn't work out. Van Damme headbutts him.
The
and-
first headbutt in Jean-Claude Van Damme's
Yep. And the
cinematic
long
career.
line
Yep.
of great headbutts. And sure enough, he falls victim as well. And then Jason's love interest gets up with a stool trying to $2 million baby Jean-Claude Van Damme, but you can't do that to the Van Daminator.
Nope.
And he grabs her by the hair, he grabs the stool, but that was enough for Jason to say, "Enough's enough, it's time for a change." And
So he goes on a zip line into the ring.
yeah. Except he survives. And
Too
he
soon.
and Van Damme end up having a terrific little choreographed fight.
The last two fights were the only fights that had any kind of really exciting martial arts choreography whatsoever.
Yeah. I was actually really surprised with how terrible this film was, that the choreography was actually pretty good. I mean, some of it was sped up. Like, you can tell in some scenes,
yeah.
like when he's running and he beats RJ on the bike. Yeah, that was totally sped up. And some
Benny
of
Hill
the,
run.
Yep. And some of the fighting scenes were a little sped up as well, but still, I mean, that was some good fight choreography.
Yeah, I was actually sitting up a little in the oh yeah,
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
like I do for every Jean-Claude Van Damme fight scene.
Oh, exactly. And so obviously Van Damme loses in this one, but that's only because he was the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Jason
Very
ends up
unrealistic.
winning, and I honestly don't know the end of it. Because
it's funny because Van Damme was disqualified,
yeah,
so he lost. So he
right, he lost by DQ.
So wouldn't they still have not kept the territory in any case? And
No, not at all. And so I don't know why everyone got upset.
you have a background in martial arts. Do dojos fight each other to gain control of territory?
Back in the day,
Pokemon.
Yeah, actually, totally. That's kind of where Pokemon Go was inspired. I can't tell you how many times I had to fight incoming dudes coming into our gym. One time, this Cobra place came in. I can't remember.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that's who it was. Thank you. I
Yep.
couldn't remember. These guys, they had some badass uniforms. But then this old Asian dude came out of nowhere and
Told you to wax off.
Yep. And I was like,
I was
okay,
there
so
watching him.
that was actually the start of the Catholic scandal right there. So, but no, this movie ends. Everything's all hunky dory.
This is the exact end of the movie. It's yay,
Yep, and then it's just done.
Doot.
Pretty much so, and that was it. And yeah, out of that, we got one Van Damme headbutt.
Yep. One case of the splits. He did the splits between the ring posts.
Dude,
which was
on the middle
amazing. He was
rope.
sitting there with his arms crossed.
That was badass. We got one Van Damme split.
There was one groin attack too.
One groin attack.
That was Bruce Lee shoving a wooden pole.
Actually, two.
Oh shit!
Two groin attacks. Now that you think, yep. Bruce Lee shoving the wooden body pole at Jason's crotch, and then there's these dudes at a bar, which we kind of neglected to mention this because it makes no sense to the rest of the story. His dad's a bartender now in Seattle. Because
he got beaten in karate.
You can't be a bartender in L.A. So his dad's obviously getting heckled by some drunk dude. And
how do these people know so much about their karate background?
I know, that's what I'm wondering. Is
hey,
it
didn't look like that big of a dojo.
Yeah,
it just looked like anyone that in any street corner.
Because they probably called up the number that was on the front of it, and they're like, "Hey, what's this all about?" Yeah, and so then Jason ends up kicking one of the dudes right in the nuts.
Oh, that's right.
It was a sideways kick too.
He totally did. Ow.
Yeah. So it wasn't just the full on like punk kick. No, he roundhouse kicked him right in the nads. So
that's what you get.
One of the guys went down that way. Rest in peace. And then
you do die from that. I've heard. A roundhouse kick to the genitals, you just die.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Just bury you where you fell.
Mm-hmm. That's why we have speed bumps now. So we had three times in this movie that the title of the movie is mentioned.
Yes, 3 titular lines. All from RJ.
Yep. No retreat, no surrender. There was a broken up one. There was the original no retreat, no surrender. Then there was no retreat, no surrender. And then no retreat, no surrender, Jason.
That was the one.
And that was the one. It was just like Beetlejuice. So, except instead Jason, goes Super Saiyan and ends up beating Jean-Claude Van Damme. Ordinarily, you wouldn't be able to.
No.
But we all know who the real winner is of this because Van Damme went on to star in a bunch of other films.
It's true. The real winner was not the viewers.
Nope. The real winner was not the viewers.
By the way, this movie's highly recommended. It's a must-see.
It definitely is. Like, I mean, if you're into 80s action films...
this does rank high in the so bad it's good.
Yes. Yeah. It's in there. It's
like
on
the random dance club scene where...
Oh, gosh, yeah. Where they obviously took something from Breakin'.
Yeah, the whole movie was basically martial arts Breakin'.
Yeah, it really was. Like, I feel like Van Damme got his say into this story. He's like, this story is very good, but...
No. You must dance.
We need more. I was just on the set of Breakin'. So, let's talk some trivia on this movie.
Let's do it.
So, 6 years after the film's release, 2 members of the cast appeared as character witnesses in the court case brought against Jean-Claude Van Damme by Jackson Rock Pickney, testifying based on their experiences working with Van Damme on the movie. Timothy D. Baker, who was the dad, claimed that Van Damme was dangerous to work with and possessed inadequate control of his movements for a martial artist, whereas Ron Pownell claimed that Van Damme did in fact possess adequate control and could perform a fight scene without complaint. So even in the beginning, Van Damme's getting sued.
Yeah, that's an ongoing complaint from a bunch of ingrates.
That's exactly unprofessional. I'm just going to come out and say pieces of shit.
Yeah, just terrible people.
How dare you? How dare you?
Smudge the name. Besmirch the untarnished, shining name of the man so nice that they named him 4 times.
Exactly. So, this next bit of trivia, let's not pay no attention to the suit that we just previously mentioned. Jean-Claude Van Damme knocked out Peter Cunningham twice with a spin kick while filming their fight scene. The first time, Van Damme broke character and asked Cunningham if he was all right, causing the director to shout at him.
I'm surprised he didn't spin kick the director.
Seriously, man.
How dare he?
The scene that has Kurt McKinney doing 2-finger push-ups was actually filmed with wires to hoist McKinney up.
Wow, no kidding.
They used trees in the background to cover up the wire. That was really good.
I was convinced. It wasn't really 2 fingers because he used his thumb.
Yeah, it was thumb
2 fingers and a thumb.
Yep. The scenes with Bruce Lee's spirit were actually filmed with
by Bruce Lee's spirit.
That's exactly it. And like the weird thing was like Zach Bagans and the Ghost guys came in and actually started like a stakeout overnight on the film. Really weird. I don't know how they could time travel. The scenes with Bruce Lee's spirit were actually filmed with Kim and Kurt both speaking different languages. Kim's voice was later dubbed into English, and apparently both actors did not know what they were saying to each other throughout these scenes. They spoke from cues behind the cameras.
Now, did every actor in the film speak a different language? Is my next question, because it would explain a lot.
Honestly, it seems like it. You have Van Damme, Bruce Lee. Jason seems to be the only one who really does speak English, while the other ones actually, like you said, went to the school of William Shatner acting. The first combat sequence of the film with Jason's father and Ivan the Russian in the dojo had Van Damme jumping off the shoulder of another villain to perform a flying kick. This kick was supposed to hit Baker's upper chest region, but Van Damme repeatedly struck Baker in the face, knee, and throat instead. And Baker later appeared as a character witness against Van Damme in the lawsuit, claiming the poorly performed kicks were largely due to carelessness on Van Damme's part, and that they continued even after director Corey Yuan told Van Damme to be more careful.
It's not really carelessness so much as
that's a tough kick.
Yeah,
to pull off too, man. I mean, that I'm not gonna lie, I could see a couple takes happening with that.
Well, I mean, the fact that it's in like 3 specific
and he's in a
points
suit
of the body.
too.
Oh yeah,
it.
like was he wearing like those like
Chuck
Chuck Norris pants or something where
he would have
super
to
high,
been,
like
because
where it was like polyester? Like
yeah, he was sporting. He wasn't just in a regular suit, man. He was sporting that.
Like you would have split the crotch, split the shoulders, like pulled a Chris
he
Farley
was
with
in a
the
double-breasted suit
Yeah.
too. So white as well.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
don't worry, it wasn't past Labor Day. Wow, so the throat and the knee.
And the knee, I know the knee. That's the weirdest one.
Well, like I'd imagine if it was the knee repeatedly, but like he definitely has a reputation for attacking weak points during action scenes.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's what you're
It's just
supposed to do.
It's
That's
that killer instinct.
Exactly.
You can't fault
You
him
can't.
for that. He's a martial artist.
I don't blame him one bit.
I blame them for not being able to defend themselves better.
Right, exactly. Like, I mean, duh, you got to sell it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
He works stiff.
McKinney did not want to do the foot and a looped rope stunt scene, but director Corey insisted, and it was successful in the end.
He was the Bruce Lee in the film then. He got him the motivation that he needed.
Yep, exactly. He should have just played Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee, the actor who played Bruce Lee, had been a double stand-in for the real Bruce Lee in films such as Game of Death and Game of Death 2.
Didn't Game of Death 2 like have like cardboard cutouts of Bruce Lee in it and like stuff like really?
Yeah,
I never saw that.
That one was like really supposed to, like, they really shemped it out on that one. Like they were like, he's dead. We're gonna continue this anyway.
The first Game of Death. Didn't even like the first Game of Death have like missing like
yes, it
audio
had
and
missing
stuff like
Yep.
Love that movie.
Fight choreographer Harrison Mang Hoi doubled both Kurt McKinney and Kim Tai-chong for the back somersault flip kick. This is Jean-Claude Van Damme's feature film debut, and he won the Oscar in 1986 for Best Actor.
Mm-hmm. Well deserved.
Yep. Writing the script was an ongoing process. Keith Strandberg claims to have spent hours each night editing and rewriting the script before the next day's shoot. That poor bastard.
Well, that explains a lot, too.
Yep.
So much is explained by this trivia.
Yep. During the montage, Jason kicks multiple bags and breaks one in the process. This was not intentional because of Kurt McKinney's martial arts background. He was just that strong.
He's no Jean-Claude Van Damme, though.
Both Kurt and Jean-Claude Van Damme were martial artists before acting. I don't see how you wouldn't know that watching this film. J.W. Fields was this is RJ, he was so determined to be cast that he lied to the filmmakers about being able to breakdance and skateboard. His dance moves and skating scenes were subsequently performed by a double.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, man.
Fake it till you make it.
Fake it till you make it, exactly. At the time of filming, JCVD drove a very poor beat-up car. At the end of production days, Van Damme would frequently ask Kurt and other cast members to push the vehicle to help start the engine.
I need you to give a car a push.
All right, that's a push now.
You push harder.
You have to use your mind.
Doing the splits in the front seat.
Yep. On the same day that Kurt McKinney was cast in the leading role, his application to the Los Angeles Police Department was accepted. He turned down his prospects as a police officer to pursue acting.
Smart.
Yep. Kurt McKinney learned about auditions for the movie through a notice in the now-defunct Drama Log newspaper. His decision to try out was made at the last moment, and by the time he arrived at the studio, the only role left over was that of the lead character. Following his audition, he was immediately cast. That's awesome.
Wow, it's an unusual case.
Yep, very unusual. While performing the fight scene wherein Jason saves his father, Kurt McKinney accidentally kicked his opponent in the face while performing a flying kick.
Oh, hey.
Nice.
I think they left that in the movie, didn't they?
Yeah, there's some scenes.
Oh yeah, they look
where,
pretty
like,
rough.
it
Like
looks-
it's weird, like how off balance the fight choreography with the acting is in this movie.
Yes. Oh, so much. And here's the last one. Jason calls Bruce Lee's ghost Lee Dai Go, which translates to Big Brother Lee in Cantonese.
Huh?
So there you have it. That's the trivia
It's
for
funny.
this.
He called him Sensei Lee up until he met him.
Yep. Yeah, and then Bruce Lee was like,
I'm
"Call
not
me
Japanese,
this."
asshole.
Yep. He was like, "Come on, jerk. Haven't you studied up on history?"
He knew his favorite flower.
That's true.
They never mentioned which flower it was. Did you?
It looked like daisies.
They did.
I
look like
honestly don't
daisies.
know. It didn't. I don't think it was daisies.
Do you know my favorite flower?
Pansies.
Close. Lilac.
I knew it. That was my second guess. Lilac.
I could tell. He mouthed lilac right before I said it.
I did. So here's some great quotes from the film as well. L.A. Karate. I'm impressed. You're good. I get better. All right. No retreat. No surrender. It's that slime ball, RJ. Stick with me, guys. You'll never go hungry. Beat it, Brucey. Go home and play with your wooden dolly.
Oh man,
These are all Scott quotes.
Scott was probably like watching him like grossed me out more than watching like a gory movie because like especially in the scene where he's eating a hamburger, there's like mustard and ketchup.
Oh,
is
I know,
all
all
over
over
his
his face.
Fucking,
Yeah.
his face.
No, you can say fucking in this.
Fucking.
This is an explicit show.
Hell
because
yeah.
you can't do a JCVD podcast and it be like totally straight laced.
That's true. It's like watching Bloodsport on WXON or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
They cut out
it
this
really
part
is.
where
I want
Chong
to
Li
see.
splits that guy's kneecap off
Oh
or whatever
yeah,
he
man.
did
His
to it.
shin pops out, and then I want to see Van Damme's butt. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah. Please. Is it so much to ask?
Hey, who peed in the pool?
He instantly knew after cannonballing.
Exactly. He cannonballed into it and knew.
You could just taste the piss.
Yep. Bruce Lee freak. Just what Kingswood needs. Why
Oh.
me?
While he's eating handfuls of like 1/4 of a cake.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That
man.
was
that was like a Saunders cake too.
yeah, I
man.
know. I kind of like. It kind of made me not want to eat cake after that, which is hard to do.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey, ain't no shelves built to stop this dancing machine. Hey, don't worry, I'm nobody's lunch. This is a nice dojo. I'll probably join. So it is you, son, is it not? But this time it will be different, Russian.
That guy and his thick Russian accent.
Yep.
And he looks so Russian too.
Oh, totally.
He
And
only had that Eastern European features, not at all the Western European features.
you saw the beginnings of the big knot on his head. Too,
Yeah.
on his forehead.
What happened? Like, is that like a superfluous twin that like got reabsorbed?
I think so.
That explains why he's so smart.
Yep. That's exactly it. It's an extra brain. So yeah. That's it. That's no retreat, no surrender, man.
A must watch.
So out of 10 Jean-Claude Van Damme splits, what would you give this?
I'd give it 6, mainly due to the lack of Jean-Claude Van Damme throughout the film.
And what about out of 10 hamburgers, how many Scott's eating mustard faces would you give it?
17, I'd say.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Yeah, I would definitely. This one, I remember watching this fondly as a kid and rewatching it now. I was like, oh, this was a lot worse than I remembered it.
It is definitely the worst feature film he has been in that I have seen.
Yep, so far.
So far.
All right, that about wraps it up. I think we're done with that. Next week is going to be Bloodsport, one of my favorite movies.
Wow, we're
of
already
all
going to
time.
Bloodsport.
Yep, that was his next one in
Get
the
to
list.
rewatch it.
Yep, I love it. If you guys can't wait between episodes 2 and 3,
just call us on our private numbers.
yep,
We'll tell
call
them right now.
it. My number's on the karate building in the beginning of the scene. Yeah. No, go to Flash Action Heroes and listen to their review.
It's a doozy. It's one of my favorites. It's in top 3.
Oh, definitely.
It's a hoot. It's a hoot and a holler.
I love it.
Thank you.
I actually, one time in college, this is our
I like where this is
our
going.
going off story. Our professor, to introduce one another, asked us all, like, hey, if you were on a desert island, what would be one of the films that you would have? And, everyone's listing all these classic movies and stuff.
Ugh, garbage.
That's exactly what I said.
Casablanca.
And then it gets to me, and I go, Bloodsport. And the whole class just erupts, and, like, I swear there was a standing ovation.
And you automatically passed the entire class.
It did. He was like, this guy deserves an A, and I didn't go back to class ever again. All right, so that's it. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Jean Pod Van Dam cast. We're going to sit back and watch some more JCVD films.
We're going to work on our splits.
Yep, exactly. Each week we're going to show progress in our splits as well. And while we do that, you guys should go on Amazon because there's the season pilot contest going on, and Jean-Claude Van Johnson is up there. That's one of the 3.
Please give it your support.
Give it 5 stars. It is absolutely wonderful. I loved it. Like, not just because it has JCVD in it, but like I actually watched it and was laughing at it and was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. This is amazing.
Just finally, I had Amazon Prime. Like, I never used it for watching streaming media, but I just activated that so that I can watch it.
Heck yes. Awesome. All right, that's it. If you like this, go on patreon.com/podbros and help us out and donate $1. That's all it costs you is $1.
That's all you need.
It costs us a lot more to watch these films, so we appreciate it.
Emotionally.
Yep.
Spiritually.
Yep. And, well, I'm going to go to Seattle and go pray to Bruce Lee. So I'll see you guys later.
Ta-ta.
No retreat.
No surrender. Let's go skateboard and avoid fat people.
You've been fighting again.
So what?
You know how I feel about fighting.
Yeah, I do. You're scared to death of it.